My mommy's lesson
is 3.1.
My mommy's lesson is 3.1.
Today we are going to talk about thousandths. So our essential question today is, how can you describe the relationship between two decimal place value positions? So our Common Core standard is understanding the place value system. Again, we're going to be looking at the relationship between two decimal place value positions. So thousandths are smaller parts of hundredths. If 1/100th is divided into 10 equal parts, each part is a thousandths. Okay? We're going to use the model to the right to show tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. So first we're going to take it and we're going to divide the larger square into 10 equal columns or rectangles, and we're going to shade one rectangle. Then we're going to look to find out what part of the whole is shaded, rectangle, and then we're going to write that part as a decimal and a fraction. Okay, so I'm going to take this square and I'm going to divide it up. Whoops. I'm going to divide it up into 10 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to shade one of them. So I'm going to shade one of them. Okay. That one represents 0.1 or 1/10. Okay. So on letter B, it says divide each square into 10 equal squares. Use a second color to shade one of the squares. What part of the whole is shaded? Write that part as a decimal or a fraction. So now I'm going to go the other way. Okay, so now I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm sorry, my lines aren't very straight here, but these should all be the same width apart, and I apologize for them to being very crooked. So now I'm going to shade. So now I'm going to shade one part. Okay, and I'm going to shade this one little part right here. Actually, let me change the color. Whoops. Change the color really quickly. Or not. There we go. So I'm going to shade one part, okay? So now that one is representing 1/100th, right? 1/100th, or 0.01, because that's our 1/100th. Okay, now let's look at the next one. Divide the enlarged hundredth square, so this one right here, but I'm going to use this one right here to make it bigger, okay? And into 10 equal rectangular columns. If each hundredth square is divided into 10 equal rectangles, how many parts will the model have? So now I'm taking this one that was representing the 1/100th right here, and I'm going to divide it up, okay? So kind of the same thing. I'm going to divide it up into 10 equal parts, and I'm not doing a very good job. And then if I were to color that one little part in there, now I'm going to have 1/1000ths or 0.001. Because remember, that's in the thousandths place, so 1/1000ths. It says use the third color to shade, Use the third color to shade one rectangle of the enlarged hundredth square. What part of the whole is shaded in that rectangle, and write it as a thousandths? And I actually kind of went ahead, sorry. I was supposed to shade it here and do it there. So this answer right here is actually, this was 1,000 parts. This should say 1,000 parts. Okay. And this right here is what they're looking for there. So when I'm dividing them, I'm dividing this. If I do that and I break it apart, I'm breaking into 1,000 parts. And then if I'm writing as a fraction or a decimal, it's going to be 1/1000ths or 0.001. Explain what shaded part of your model in the investigation section showed. What fraction can you write that relates to the shaded part of the next greater shaded part? The model shows that 1/10th, 1/100th, and 1,000th shaded. Each shaded part is 1/10th of the next larger shaded part. Identify and describe a part of your model that shows 1,000th. Explain how you know. So one shaded rectangle of 1/100th that is divided into 10 equal rectangles shows 1,000th. If 100th was divided into 10 equal parts, I would have 10 times 100 or 1,000 parts, and each of the 1,000 parts is 1/1000th of the whole. Okay, let's make connections. The relationship of the digit in a different place value position is the same decimal as it is with the whole numbers. You can use understanding of place value patterns and place value chart to write the decimals that are 10 times as much or 1/10 of any given decimal. This goes back to our lesson in chapter 1. So where I had my hundredths chart, but this time instead of just having the 10 here, they actually have a number. So I have 4 hundredths. And if I'm going this way, it's a 1/10 as much. If I'm going this way, it's 10 times as much, just like we did in chapter 1. So if I'm looking at this, is 10 times as much is going to be 0.4, because I'm going to be moving my decimal, right? And is 1/10 of much, now I'm going to make it smaller. So I'm going to add, right? Because I have my original number is 0.04, okay? And if I'm saying it's 10 times as much, that means I'm moving my 0, right? I'm making it a bigger number, right? So now I have 0.4, and if I'm making it 1/10 as much, I'm moving it the other way, and I'm making it a smaller number, right? Okay? Same concept as what we did in chapter 1. You can always go back and rewatch that video if you want. So use the steps below to complete the table. Step 1. Write the given decimal in a place value chart. Okay? There we go. Step 2. Use the place value chart to write a decimal that is 10 times as much as the given decimal. Then we're going to do step 3, which is use a place value chart to write the decimal that is 1/10 of the given number. So first we're going to do 10 times as much, then we're going to do 1/10. So let's fill it in. And again, all we're doing is moving the decimal, because when I've got it right here, I'm just moving the decimal over one way or another, okay? So if I've got 10 times as much, and I'm going to move the decimal place over. So I'm going to have 0.3, okay? 1/10 of, I'm going to make it a smaller number. I'm going to have 0.003. I'm just moving the decimal point. 10 times as much as 0.1 is going to be 1.0. And then 1/10 is going to be 0.01. All I'm doing is moving the decimal, right? Just moving the decimal. Okay? 0.07 is going to be 0.7. And then if I'm doing 1/10 as much, it's going to be 0.007. Because remember, 1/10 as much is going to be a smaller number, and 10 times as much is going to be a greater number. Okay, share and show. Write the decimals shown by the shaded part of each model. So here I'm going to look, and they want to know what this little part is right here, okay? So if I'm looking at it, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I'm going to have 0.6, and then how many do I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0.6, okay? And then this little square right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 0.665, or 665 thousandths. Okay, so let's do this model over here. I have one whole, right? So I've got 0.1, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 there. And then they've taken out this one little square right here, and they've made it so that it's right there. And that's going to be another 1. Okay, so I'm going to have 181 thousandths. So let's do this next one. I have 1, 2, 3 wholes, right? So it's going to be, or 3 tenths. So 0.3 tenths. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hundredths. And then I've got this one little square, okay, and it's all but 2 of those, so that's going to be 8, because if I were to count those, I'd have 8. So I have 398 thousandths. So let's look at this next one. Of the tenths, so I put my 0 tenths, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tenths. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hundredths. And then in this little square, I have nothing, right? So I'm just going to have 0.99. okay, or 99 hundredths. Okay, let's complete the sentence. 6/10 is 10 times as much as, remember, you're just moving the decimal point over. So you're going to say 0.06, okay? On this one, I have 8,000th is 1/10 as much of. Remember, you're just moving the decimal point over. So this is going to be 8 hundredths. So on this one, I have 0.07 is 1/10 of. And we're going to put 0.07 or 7 tenths. We're just moving the decimal point over. That's all we're doing, just moving the decimal point over. 0.5 is 10 times as much as, and on this one we're going to put 0.05 or 5 hundredths, just moving the decimal point over. This is exactly like the lesson that we did in chapter 1. So let's go ahead and finish the patterns. So we've got the 10 times as much, so we have 2 tenths. So if we're doing 10 times as much, we're going to move the decimal point over, right? So we're going to make it a bigger number. So it's going to be 2.0. And we're going to make it a smaller number on this one, so it's going to be 0.02. Okay, on this one we're doing 7 tenths. So we're going to make it a bigger number, which is going to be 0.7, okay, or 0.7. Then we're going to make it a smaller number, so we're going to say 0.007. Okay. On the next one, it's 0.05, so we're going to move that decimal point over, so it's going to be 0.5 or 0.5. And then when we move it back the other way for 1/10 of, it's going to be 0.005 or 0.005. 0.4 is going to be 4.0, and then when we make it smaller, it's going to be 0.04. Okay, same thing over here. We're going to do the same thing. 0.06 is going to be 0.6. Okay, and the next one's going to be 0.006 because we're moving the decimal point the other way to make it smaller. Then we have 0.9 or 9 tenths is going to be 9.0 or straight 9. Then when we're making it smaller with 1/10, it's going to be 0.09. On 3 tenths, it's going to be 3, right? When I make it 1/10 of the 0.03, it's going to be 0.03. 0.08 is going to be 0.8, and then when I make it smaller with the 1/10, I'm going to say 0.008. All right, the rest of them are on your own. There are just a few of them, okay, and it's looking at the length of the bumblebee and actually doing some problem solving. You can work with me on the carpet or with a buddy, and then you can work on your math homework for the lesson. All right, thanks, guys.